What's up? What's up? What's up, people? Tell me how you feeling tonight. Tell me how you feeling tonight. Don't be afraid to make it known. Come on. Make some noise. Clap your hands. Stomp your feet. Whatever you want to do. We are here live tonight. Welcoming you all into another edition of De La Spurs Live. I hope you can feel the energy in my voice. I hope you can feel the energy because I got it tonight. Go ahead and take a moment to give yourselves a round of applause, please. Y'all know you deserve it. You deserve it as much as anybody else. Come on. Give yourself a round of applause. Yeah, let's make some noise. Come on. Make some noise for the host. Where is he at? Right here, baby. Come on. Let's go. Come on, folks. How you doing? How you doing tonight? Friday night, another edition of De La Spurs Live. It's your host, De La Spurs. Hope you all are doing well tonight. I know I am feeling well. Listen, the weather is doing its job. Spring has sprung for us. This is about 80 degrees where I'm at. The sun's out. The heat's out. I see people are out. The skin's out. The toes out. The bugs are out. Listen, spring has sprung where I'm at. It's about to be a busy spring, even more busy summer. So I hope y'all are enjoying your times wherever you're at, wherever you're watching this. You know, I hope the grass is turning greener. You know what I'm saying? I hope it's not as brown as it was last week. I hope you're starting to see some buds on your trees. Wherever you are, you start to see some buds, some little leaflets forming on those trees, right? You know what I'm saying? Hopefully the air looks a little bit bluer. The sky looks a little bit bluer. The air is a little bit clearer for you going into spring. Listen, folks, it is April 3rd, Friday night. Hope you guys are enjoying your Friday night. I know I am. Like I said, I hope you can feel the energy. There's energy over here where I'm at. So hopefully that's transferring to you guys watching it live. Listen, we got a lot of stuff to get into, man. Well, I lied. We don't got a lot of stuff to get into. Not a whole bunch of updates that have happened since the last live stream, but we're kind of going to go back over some things. You know, now we got some time to think about some stuff, got some time to ponder, sit on it, and think. I'm going to go over some of the ideas I had before. But before we get into all of that, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead, take a moment, right? Like this live stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell when you do, so you can get my posts when I'm going live. I think I posted when I was going live with this. I should have posted going live. But if it's not on YouTube, feel free to go ahead and follow me on X. That link is in the description as well. You can follow me there so you can get the posts. I usually post on YouTube and as well on X/Twitter. Before I'm going live, the days I'm going live, I'll give you the updates. I'll even include the link to the live stream so you don't got to do nothing except find that post, hit the like, retweet it. You can go back, bookmark it so you can go back, find the live stream, come join me here at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, as always, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So go ahead, follow me on X, hit the subscribe button on YouTube as well, hit the notification bell as well. If you want to leave a comment, feel free to do so. You are not restricted. There's no rules against it. Go ahead and leave a comment. Go ahead and put something in the live chat if you feel like it, if you like the content, if you don't like it, and then the reason why. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Is there things I should talk about? Is there things that you want me to talk about that I haven't covered yet? Or the things that I am covering right now that you just really don't like and you don't care for it? Let me know what I could do for the content as well. The goal, I should I'm going to try to figure out a little visual or something for a sub count. Obviously, you can see we're at 3 subs for the channel, trying to get to 5. Trying to get to 5. That's the goal for the summer. Get 2 more subscribers. Let's get 5. Let's get that even 5. We're already close. We're at 3. So if you're watching this, please go ahead, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. Well, like I said, not a lot has happened since the last time we went live. So I don't got a lot of updates for you. There's not been a lot of activity. Obviously, the international break is still going as far as football goes. So teams are still playing internationally. I think there's some players getting back, starting to train. So listen, we're going to kind of break down some of the other points that we've been making, especially with this De Zerbi signing that has just recently come in. We're going to be talking about, or at least going through what that actually means. Now that we got some time to kind of sit on it, kind of ponder, you know what I'm saying? What does that mean for us? Is this going to be a good sign for Tottenham, or is this going to be another failure? We'll have to see. But listen, we're going to go over everything again. We're going to talk about the signing, the contract. What does this mean in everything? But first, we need to take a moment. We can't talk about this here, right? This is classified. Keep this on the down low, right? This is classified information. You hear me? Classified information. So we can't be talking about it out here. Can't be talking about here. We need to go to a secret room. We need to go to a base. Where could we possibly go? Where can we possibly do this? The Situation Room. That's where we're headed. We're headed to the Situation Room. Folks, don't forget, it's still Defcon 1. You cannot forget this, folks. We are in a dire situation. We are 1 point above the relegation zone. Our future and our fate is not in our hands as much as we would like to think with this De Zerbi signing. We are grabbing the Bulls by the horn, but we are not. Life is still kicking us in the ass as Tottenham Hotspur, as a club. So please don't forget. Don't forget, we are in Defcon 1. We are in Defcon 1. So we need to go into the Situation Room if we're going to talk about this. We don't really need to be talking about this in front of other fans and their, media pundits and all that stuff. We're just going to keep this in the tight-knit circle that is Tottenham. You know what I'm saying? We're keeping this in the Situation Room, right? Defcon 1. We're still at Defcon 1. We do have the signing of the hopefully you haven't, but some do that because always best. If you didn't know, Roberto, the Italian manager, has signed for Tottenham. Here we go. This was effective 2 days ago. This tweet from Fabrizio Romano. This was on actually 3 days ago, March 31st. So it wasn't an April Fool's Day joke. If you thought it was an April Fool's Day joke, that we got Roberto De Zerbi, I'm sorry. It's not. It is the truth. Roberto De Zerbi has signed for Tottenham, and he will be here for the next 5 years. Now, one of the big things that stood out with the signing of De Zerbi, right, is for one, it's a long-term contract, right? I think a lot of fans were nervous, especially with what was being reported from Roberto De Zerbi or from his camp, from his agents, wherever that message was coming from, that he wasn't looking to manage anybody for the rest of the season. He was looking to try to get out of this season and go into next season, or at least go into the summer with some managerial options, especially with whatever happened towards the end of the summer. There'd be teams that were making some big moves, big changes, and he wanted to be at the top of the list for certain people. But hey, when you got the money, hold on, where's it at? When you got the money like Tottenham, right? When you got the money like Tottenham, you know what I'm saying? Money talks around here, right? He may be Italian. I'm not sure if he speaks English. He's coached at Brighton. He's coached in the Premier League. He probably speaks English. But in case he doesn't know the language of English, or whoever is doing the communicating from the Tottenham end, there's one language that he did understand. That's money. That's money. That's cash money. Listen, $12 million a year De Zerbi's getting. $12 million a year. $12 million a year. So he's pretty set as far as his pay, right? And that has, in my opinion, the biggest factor of why he wanted to come here, because you can't tell me where Tottenham is right now in this season, being in the relegation fight, with the players that we have available due to injury, players not playing, wanting to leave, whether what we just saw with Igor Tudor and where we are right now, you can't tell me there's any manager that wants to come in and thinks this is a prime A position to do something, especially for their own career and to further Tottenham. This is a job that looks like it's going to be the death of anybody and everybody. But through all of that, cash talks. Here he is now. So $12 million a year, right? He's going to be here long term. It doesn't matter if we get relegated. It doesn't matter if we stay in the Premier League. He is our guy. I think there was a quote. Where is that article? Here's an article that had his right here. Yep. Yep. So he's here to stay, and this confirms it. Roberto De Zerbi, the Tottenham project is important. I will coach the Spurs next year too, regardless of everything. So word has come out from De Zerbi. He's here to stay. Doesn't matter if we're getting relegated. We stay in the Premier League. He's here for us. He's here for the Tottenham project. Very interesting, because I think there was another guy who was a Tottenham manager that said the exact same thing. As a matter of fact, this has been an underlying theme with a lot of Tottenham managers, that when they come into the job, they're always talking about the long term. I'm here for success, right? I'm here to build a squad capable of winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League, competing in the domestic competitions, competing in the European competitions, a squad that's able to compete on all fronts. How many times have we heard that as Spurs fans? Well, Roberto De Zerbi has made his rounds through the media saying the same thing. And to back it all up as well, we also now have Lange, sporting director of Tottenham, coming out. Roberto was our number one target for the summer. We are very pleased to be able to bring him in. He's one of the most creative, forward-thinking coaches in the world. Football brings with him a wealth of experience at the highest level, including the Premier League. So this coming out from our sporting director has confirmed this was our guy in the summer, right? Even though I remember a certain guy in this exact same picture with the quote above another manager, or about another manager, I should say, regarding we're not trying to panic going into the summer. This is our guy going into the summer. We know the results haven't been the best, but here we are. We're sticking with Frank. All of a sudden, right? Tudor. Now we're here with De Zerbi. He's coming out again saying, oh, well, this is our guy long term in the summer. We've always had this guy as an option in the summer. He was always going to be our man. We have a plan for him. He's coming in with some great experience, forward thinking, one of the most forward thinking coaches in the world. So the sporting director, who by all means have already apparently had a project set up for this guy before we could. First of all, Roberto De Zerbi didn't want to come here before the season ended. But now all of a sudden, we had a plan for Roberto De Zerbi in the summer. We were going to bring him in. We had a plan for him. And this guy, he is the mastermind behind all of it. He's a mastermind behind the plan for Frank, the plan for Tudor, and now what we're seeing, the plan for Roberto De Zerbi. Sounds kind of crazy, right? It does sound kind of crazy, because it is crazy. But the truth is, I'm pretty sure this guy doesn't know what he's doing. But he has to save face. They have to make this all look, concurrent, cohesive, that it's all together, one effort, one band, one sound, however you want to put it. He has to be able to put his stamp of approval on it. Same thing with the board, same thing with the fans. So this guy has come out. It's already back in the project. This is our number one choice. We already knew this guy was going to be the man. We already knew he was coming into the summer. We're just glad we got it done now. Very interesting, very interesting. But we welcome Roberto De Zerbi. Here, hold on. There was let me get the tweet. We welcome Roberto De Zerbi, 5 years, $12 million a year, right? He's going to be the manager that's going to, first of all, see out the 7 games to see if we're going to get relegated or not. Now, we should, how should I say this? I don't think necessarily the next 7 games is going to define Roberto De Zerbi's career, his managerial career, right? I don't necessarily think that how he does in the next 7 games is going to determine how well he's going to do for Tottenham as a whole going into the future. But I think a lot of fan opinion and a lot of fan weight on if this quote-unquote project is going to work or not is going to be contingent on the next 7 games. And if he can get some fight out of the players, if he can implement a style of play, if he can get the fans themselves to buy in, any doubters who are left to buy in, and most importantly, can he get this either Lange, the guy you saw sitting on the couch with the nice sweater vest, or even the Enoch children or the Enoch group, the ownership group, CEO, Vin Ivan Contestion, and Lange, if he can get them all on board of whatever he's doing. So the next 7 games are important. And I think for a lot of people, it's going to hinge on whether or not they want to put their trust into this guy. Because trust me, if he goes into these next 7 games and he fucks it all up, be bad. It's going to be bad. No one's going to have any faith in him going into that summer. And as a matter of fact, as well, depending on what the results are, if we do get relegated, I'm not sure how much control, confidence, and belief this ownership is going to have going into that next transfer window with this guy in charge. Now, granted, I don't think there's really going to be any plan for the transfer window with Roberto De Zerbi. I don't think there's really any plan in the transfer window for any manager that we bring in. And that's another point I want to bring up with this, right? Roberto De Zerbi, right? He comes in. He's going to be, obviously, again, 5 years, $12 million a year. I'm pretty sure there's a bonus if he does keep us in the Premier League, right? Our ownership has taken the risk of bringing this guy in and paying him. He's here now, right? Now what we need to see, or what we should see from the ownership, is that now that we brought the guy in, the risk that we have, is there a plan for this risk? Are we planning to do this? Or are we hinging all of our bets on Roberto De Zerbi to come in and make all the final decisions, and with that, take all the brunt of the responsibility of those decisions as well? Are we going to see the ownership come out and say, well, this is the plan we had for whatever said manager that we hired? We knew that we were going to need to do this in the next 7 games and do this in the summer. So this is a plan that we have laid out, we already have created. Or is the ownership going to come out and say, Roberto, if you can't keep us in the Premier League, we're not going to listen to you in the transfer window. Now, if you do keep us in the Premier League, transfer window is all yours to control. But if not, we are going to have to step in, one, because there's going to be financial concerns. We got to make sure the money's good, right? And then 2, we can't be going out and spending money on whoever just to get us out. These players are only going to be good for 1 or 2 years. They're probably going to be looking for long-term solutions, right? Money-saving solutions that will help them out in the long run. And they're going to say Roberto De Zerbi is not going to be a part of that because he's not privy to the spreadsheets and whatnot that we got going on in the background. So I think that how should I say this? I think that the ownership is they're going to have to show, I guess ambition is the word, right? But they're going to have to show their ass a little bit about what they want to do with this guy. They got to show some sort of vigor. They got to show some sort of energy. They got to show something that they're ready to back this guy and ready to push with Roberto De Zerbi. And if not, again, we'll see in the summer what happens. If we see that all they're planning with Roberto De Zerbi was to try to help us in the short term with the 7 games, and then they don't trust him with the rest of his time here, or they're not going to trust him or back him in that next transfer window, then you're going to see that, or it will be exposed just how much of a risk, or I shouldn't say how much of a risk, but you're going to see how the ownership had a lack of planning with bringing this guy in. And even if you were hoping that this guy would save the club, that they thought a little bit past their nose and said, we're giving this guy a 5-year contract. So yes, the next 7 games are important for the future of Tottenham. But in case he doesn't achieve what we want in the next 7 games, this is the plan that we got for Roberto. This is the plan that we got moving forward from here, right? And if we see that there is no plan and that it simply was those 7 games that determines how the club is going to move forward, then, I mean, it's pretty obvious. We've all seen it before, right? But we're going to see that this ownership has no plan. They had no idea what to do. They were simply putting all their cards out on the table because they saw, they had, pocket nines in their hands or something like that. Some crazy poker hand reference that I'm trying to make. But either way, we'll see that this ownership really didn't have a plan for Roberto De Zerbi. They were only focused on the next 7 games, but they didn't want to trust a manager that's already been here in a hairy redknapp of Mauricio Pochettino and Tim Sherwood. They weren't willing to take the risk with Deshaun Dyche because they knew the fan base was going to be heavily against it, right? So they took this risk with Roberto De Zerbi, bringing him in, adhering to the stipulations that he wanted to adhere to, and that was being here ensuring his stability here at the club for a long time, as well as making sure he gets compensated for that stability that he's so-called going to be bringing here for the next future, right? So we'll see. We're going to see. We're going to see just exactly what this ownership has in plan and what they have in store. If you want to ask me, I don't think this ownership really has any plan for him. Again, I don't really think they were necessarily planning on giving him a 5-year contract. I think they really would love to offer Roberto De Zerbi the 7-game contract and say, hey, depending on how you do in these 7 games, we'll determine whether or not we want to hire you in the summer, right? And I also think as well that depending on what we do, if we save ourselves in the Premier League, right? Okay, well, if we're in the Premier League, we keep our status, it's going to be a little bit easier to find a manager if we want to get rid of Roberto De Zerbi, or if we go down to the championship, right? They'll say, well, we got Roberto De Zerbi for the next 5 years, so we don't have to try to search for a manager while we're in the championship, which would make it even harder on Spurs to find a manager. It's already hard for us to find a manager in the Premier League. Like, let's not joke around about this, right? I forgot what it was when we finally appointed Nuno, but I think we were without a manager for 40, 50, 60 days, like almost two to 3 months without a manager. So it's tough. It's tough for Tottenham to find a manager, right? And we obviously seem to like this Roberto De Zerbi package that if we do get a manager, we're gonna have to pay him. We're gonna have to pay him out the to bring him in. We're gonna have to adhere to what they want out of a contract, and that's probably going to be long-term stability, right? Making sure they get compensated fairly for their stability, as well as control in certain aspects while they're there at the club. Roberto De Zerbi got all 3 of those in the contract, so it shows that. I mean, for one, Tottenham wasn't really in that; they weren't really making that negotiation what it was, and then 2, They had to do that to bring him in because I don't think they knew who they wanted to bring in next as a manager for the next 7 games. So that's kind of my point with this ownership and with Roberto De Zerbi. Again, I don't think it's going to work. We've seen every manager that comes in, they last about 18 months, right? They'll go into the first season. Maybe they have a quote unquote manager bounce. They get a couple. The players feel good, the fans feel good, but what do we do in that next transfer window? Do we take the step forward with that manager? Do we say, now that we know that you're good, we feel good about you, are we now comfortable and able to take the next step? Or from what we usually see with this ownership, are we going to stay stagnant and say, well, since this guy has proved that he can do this, maybe he can do this again. Maybe he can do this. Or what I think the ownership does is, oh, okay, this guy, he got this result. Good. We'll leave him to that, and we'll continue focusing on securing land deals, securing real estate deals, right? Getting money from other advertisers and stuff, bringing in money to the club so that the ownership can really focus their ventures and energy on that aspect that's on the club, while Roberto De Zerbi proving that he can keep Tottenham in the Premier League with 7 games. They're just going to assume that he can just hold it down and they don't have to do anything with him. So I think that's usually what happens. I think that's probably what's going to happen, right? Regardless if we stay in the Premier League or not, I'm probably going to say by Christmas time this year, either we, the fans, are going to be like, enough of this guy, get him out of this club, or we're going to see that the ownership is already going to be contemplating who are we going to be bringing in next. I'm saying this now. So go ahead and clip it. Go ahead and clip it. By Christmas time, 2026, either the fans are going to be done with this guy or the club is going to be saying, listen, we need to try to find other candidates because this guy isn't working. And this is going to be, I don't want to say this is not going to be at any fault of Roberto De Zerbi. I don't know what he's going to do when he comes in. But what I can say is that there's a history that this ownership does not put the players manager or the fans in the best position to succeed. And I think we're going to see a repeat of that with Roberto De Zerbi, even though we are in this desperate situation, even though he's getting paid $12 million a year, and even though he's going to be here for the next 5 years. I think the ownership is going to operate the same way. So around Christmas time, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of question marks, a lot of troubling things, a lot of concerns around Roberto De Zerbi. And I think a lot of fans are going to be saying, listen, this isn't the guy. Thank you for the 7 games. Thank you for keeping us in the Premier League. Or they're going to be saying, fuck you. You suck. You got us relegated. We hate Roberto De Zerbi. Your style of play sucks. We don't want to watch it. Ownership, do something. So it's going to go either way for me. Or it's going to go either way as far as either the ownership or the fans are going to want him out. But I think by Christmas time, we're going to be seeing the same situation we've been seeing with Frank, same situation we saw with Tudor, right? It's going to come to a head, and we're going to sit here and say, what do we need to do next? Because whatever is working right now or whatever is going on right now is not working. It's not working whatsoever. So just wanted to mention that as far as Roberto De Zerbi signing, what this means for the ownership in the long term. There was some good clips. Hold on, let me see. I had a clip of Roberto De Zerbi in training that I wanted to show, just kind of showing how he's been handling everything since he's been coming in. Now, this is like the first official video from his training sessions, right? So I don't think he's necessarily been here for too long, but there's going to be some things people were seeing, as you see from the quotes in the tweet, all 1 or 2 touches. Don't lose the ball. Be brave. Be calm on the ball. Right? All the little things Tottenham fans love to hear about style of play that you want to hear from the manager. He's saying that in these videos. So a lot of fans are hyped, right? A lot of fans are saying, oh, this is the guy. This is exactly what we were needing. This is exactly what, this is what has been called for. This is what we've been wanting as a coach, right? As much as we had managers, you hear about managers going into the transfer window. We want the manager to control the things behind the scenes. But most importantly, what Tottenham has been needing is a coach. We need someone to come in and start coaching these players. Because to be quite honest, if you ask me, I don't think these players have been coached since the beginning of this calendar year. I think going into January, I think Thomas Frank saw the situation he's in. I think he knew his job was on the line. I think he started spiraling in those training sessions. And if you want to ask, if you ask me, right, I don't think that he was necessarily going into those training sessions with coaching these players to the best of his ability in his mind. I think it was more of a preservation sort of mindset for either himself or the players, whoever was left, right? I think it was just preservation, keeping your head above water. Same thing with Tudor, right? I don't think Tudor had a plan for how he wanted to coach this team. I think a lot of people, or there was videos that were coming out about his conditioning regimen that he brought to the players. A lot of people were saying the players were unfit. They weren't running around as much. So even then, right, training, fitness regimen, right, that is an aspect of coaching, but that's not necessarily coaching or the coaching that we were looking for. This is the coaching Tottenham fans were looking for. This is the coaching that Tottenham fans wanted to hear coming out of the manager's mouth or the head coach's mouth, right? So, listen, just to show that video, just to kind of give some hope to some fans, right, that, oh, maybe there are some things that are going right. Maybe Roberto De Zerbi is the guy, right? Again, for me, he can do this in every training session, right? He can get the academy players and the senior 11 players to all be on one accord. Everybody could be so happy-go-lucky in the camp. You could see everybody with the big-ass smile on your face, right? It's the same thing for me. If ENIC 2.0 is not going to back Roberto De Zerbi, they're not going to give him the decision-making powers that he needs to get what he wants out of this football team, the squad, this club, then it's all going to fall apart. It's going to fall apart. And whether the ownership is going to be the face of it, Roberto De Zerbi himself is going to be the face of it, or us, the fans, I don't think it's going to work out. Like I said, by Christmas, we're all going to be scratching our heads, asking questions. saying, what do we do next? Because this guy isn't it. So I just wanted to show that again, just because fans have been hyped. We've been seeing training videos go up online. I think if you go to the Tottenham Hotspur, the home page on Twitter, their official page on Twitter, they have like a longer version of the training video. So if you actually wanted to watch the training and what it looked like, what it sounded like, what he was saying and what he was doing, you can kind of see that. I don't think it's the full training session, but it's a longer video going into more details or more in depth about how the training looked. I wanted to kind of show that, just to show that, you know, there is positives with Roberto De Zerbi coming in. As negative as it sounds, like as negative as it is, to say that by the end of this calendar year he's gonna have to start looking for another job because it's gonna, you know, fall apart here at Tottenham. Seeing that is a positive for me, because I'm also in the camp that I would love for a proper coach to come in, right? No matter if you won something or not, if you're coming in and properly coaching these players, if you're trying to stick your foot in to these players, right, and get something out of them, I think, you know, these are great and positive signs. So I'm not necessarily like criticizing him for doing this. I'm not criticizing the training video. But yeah, I just wanted to show that I mean, that is a positive with Roberto De Zerbi. Whether you wanted him or not, I think we all knew just from accounts from previous players, right, media pundits, whoever, that as far as a coach, he is a solid choice. He is a solid bet, in that there will be some proper coaching going on. There will be some proper coaching sessions. So that's good. Just wanted to show that. Listen, we're about to call this video quits. Real quick, I just wanted to try to get in on again what I thought is a little bit of conspiracy theory brain. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. So gonna cut the video shortly, but I wanted to go over this conspiracy again because this has been running through my mind. I want to get this out as soon as possible, right? In my opinion, right? Hold on. If you ask me, right? Again, this is conspiracy theory brain. I don't have the spreadsheets in front of me. I don't have the years of evidence in front of me. I don't have like any official court documents or whatever is going on, but just from a fan, right? Just from a fan looking at what you're seeing now on the screen, looking at how we've been operating over the past, what I would say, decade. Not even saying for as long as ENIC has been over here, for about like almost 30 years now, but just in the last decade, in the last third, right? The last 10-year term of ENIC, right? And what's been going on and what we've been doing, right? Especially with the new stadium coming into play, right? In all the ventures that came along with that. I want to say this. I think, for one, I think the fact that Father ENIC, right? Daddy ENIC. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was that not? That's his position, right? He's their father, right? He's their dad. He's your dad. So Daddy ENIC, right? Daddy ENIC. Oh, come on. Be more mature than that. Be more mature than that. Daddy ENIC it was taken out of position of doing anything here at Tottenham due to his insider trading. Now, I'm not saying there is insider trading going on here at Tottenham, but what I will say is this. I think there is corruption. I think there is unfairness. I think there is some untruthfulness going around at Tottenham at the moment. And I think with Father ENIC going out of position, the ENIC children coming in to take over, them bringing in Charrington to come in and review the finances. And what most recently we've seen of Daniel Levy being fired with immediate effect from Tottenham. There's a couple of things that I drew from from the acts and what's been going on the last decade. One, again, untruthfulness, unfairness. I think there's accounts that have been fudged. I think the numbers have been fudged. I think things have been smudged and moved around a different way. Now, granted, nobody has come out and found this yet. Nobody has come out and said, hey, this isn't matching with this. And so, again, it's all conspiracy theory brain. But I think there's some numbers that have been fudged as far as the accounting. I think Father Enoch and Daniel Levy were in charge, or at least a part of hiding those numbers or fudging those numbers so they wouldn't come up, so that they could continue to operate Tottenham the way they wanted to operate and pursue the ventures outside of football or outside of athletics that Tottenham wanted to pursue. And I think what happened was, once Father Enoch got caught with the insider trading, that left the door wide open for the Enoch children to come in, who I think some didn't really know what was going on or really pay attention to what was going on. And with the addition of Charrington to come in and review those numbers, you can even say with the hiring of Vinay as well, everybody coming in to look and see where Tottenham is at. I think they saw some things that would get Tottenham into some deep trouble, especially with the situation we're looking at right now with relegation, right? About almost €1 million or dollars being lost, as far as going down one league is a loss in TV revenue, the loss in European revenue, right? Things of that nature. So I think with the situation we're facing in now, with some of the bad accounting or untruthful accounting that's been going on at Tottenham more recently, I think the Enoch children in Charrington said, let's get this guy, this Daniel Levy guy, because Dad's already taken care of. He's out. No more decision-making power for him. Let's cut Daniel Levy's arm off here so he can't make any more decisions. He can't get Tottenham in any deeper water than what it is. And I think what you've been seeing from the Enoch children now, and their lack of focus on the athletics and everything, is them in the background trying to put out as many fires as they can before shit hits the fan, right? Just my opinion. But you can't tell me with Aston Villa, Chelsea, Newcastle, Leicester City, all these other clubs that have been hit with financial breaches, all this stuff, that Tottenham, that has been shown to spend probably the third or fourth most in the Premier League with no footballing results to account for it, is bringing in all this money, especially when you factor in this, that even with the increased revenues that we're bringing, that we're still in almost £1 billion worth of debt. So what's going on, right? I mean, obviously the operating expenses have grown as well. So, I mean, like, I think with those things that naturally do happen from year to year, right? Those financial things that happen that we can't necessarily account for, whether it's growth in cost because you got more staff, a growth in cost because we're running so many more events, right? So we got to pay the people to come in and help run those events. So that costs a lot more money. And the bigger events you have, the bigger the staff is. The more pricey those higher end companies that handle security, that handle setting up the inside of the stadium, that handle the operations, concessions, all that stuff. All those aspects, when you're talking about a live music show, boxing event, whatever it is, the bigger those events are, the more it costs to run those things. And from Tottenham and our perspective, what I've seen with the NFL coming in, more boxing matches, more musicians coming in, those operating costs are going to increase. So those are things that are naturally going to happen. I'm not saying that's indicative of like a failure or like I'm saying some bad accounting. But what I think is happening is that there's some bad accounting that will come to light. And if there's a situation where in the championship, our revenue almost gets cut in half because of it, those problems are going to look a lot worse. They're going to be under a bigger microscope, or there's going to be more light pointing towards it, especially the longer we stay in the championship. So for me, what I can draw just from going from today, April 3rd, 2026, and rewinding the clock back, you can even say as far as to when we got the new stadium. even the years before that, because I think we moved the stadium around 2019. So I think we're close to the 10-year mark. We're close to a decade in the stadium. I think we're more than halfway there, I believe, with it being 2026. Yeah, I think we're about 6 years in. I think we moved in around 2019, 2020. So we're about 6 years in, more than half a decade in, right? You can even go before that, right? When we were planning to build the stadium and seeing how much it's going to cost and getting the location and all that stuff, rewinding the tape back, that then and there is when the numbers started being fudged. And I think Tottenham said we need to take this step forward, right? Our rivals in Arsenal have done it. I'm sure in the back of their mind, they probably thought a team like Chelsea was not far down the road from doing it as well. We've now seen teams like Everton, Leicester City, Brentford come in, upgrade their stadiums, upgrade their training grounds, their facilities and whatnot. So I think Tottenham said the next step for us is to do that because, one, it's going to cost, but we can generate revenue on that. And then two, it's part of we don't want to be left behind. They didn't want to be left behind. They didn't want to have the small stadium. They didn't want to have the whatever looking training ground when everybody else is progressing. And the reason why we couldn't do that is because we weren't bringing in the money. We weren't bringing in the funds. We weren't expanding at a level to accommodate that. So I think some numbers were fudged so that they can go ahead and say, no, we are expanding at this level. Let's go ahead and secure a new stadium. Let's go ahead and get the training grounds going. Let's do this. Let's do that. Fudge the numbers to do it. Now that we're here, they're going to say, now we need to kick it into overdrive because we need these numbers that we say that we're going to generate to come in on the back end to help cushion some of the numbers that they've been fudging over the past decade, right? So that's why I think a lot of the focus has been on the events outside of football, the adventures outside of football, real estate outside of the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, because they're saying we need to bring in this money not only to pay off for the stadium, right? Pay off this almost billion pound debt, but we also need to come in to start cushioning some of the numbers that we've been lying about, right? So that it won't be that bad of a blow, or that when we report these numbers that we're lying, we have something that can kind of help cushion or something to present some rose-tinted glasses over the fact that we've been lying about the numbers. So just to kind of put it to a head, and we're going to be wrapping up the stream soon after this. One, I think that Tottenham can be in trouble in the next 5 years, especially if we get relegated, right? I think if we get relegated, that's going to put a whole nother light, bigger microscope on the finances at Tottenham, how we're running and how we've been running, right? Because again, we've been spending with the Manchester Uniteds. We've been spending with the Arsenals. We've been spending with the Manchester Cities and the Chelseas, but we have not had even close to the footballing results that those teams have achieved over the last decade. So for me, it does not make any sense how we can be spending this money year after year after year, right? And not get anything from it and say that we're keeping our head above water, or that we're in the red, but we're slowly turning into the black, right? That doesn't make sense to me. So in the fact that, again, like I said, stuff like operating costs, these things are going to go up and down depending on those are just natural things that happen. But this number that continues to grow and grow and grow, no matter how much money we're bringing in, right, is a concern to me, and shows to me that maybe, just maybe, all the things that we're doing now is not to help bring this number down. It's to help cushion some of the numbers that we were making up before in the past, right? In history's time, when they go back, I think this is the money to try to kind of cover up for that. So again, just some conspiracy theory brain, right? Just some conspiracy theory brain. I'm not sure, like I said, there's people who've come out. I'm not sure necessarily how many audits have Tottenham been a part of over the last decade, but I think, again, if we get relegated, if our revenues are cut in quarters, thirds, halves from being in the championship, that microscope, that view of what we're doing and how we've been operating is going to come into a whole nother light, a whole nother scrutiny. And I think, one, the Enoch children are trying to get ahead of this by going balls to the wall and trying to bring as much money as they can now, or two, they cut Daniel Levy and Father Enoch off as soon as they could because they know that shit was going to hit the fan in case something bad happened to the club. And Daniel Levy at that point would have either at that point, right, and there was rumors about him selling his shares, right, to a third party. He would have sold his shares, would have gotten out, had his money for it and everything. So even if that was him or he was at fault, he could say, hey, I'm not even there anymore. I sold my shares. I'm not a part of that. Yes, my name is still there because it's tied with Enoch. But as far as me being the person responsible, being on the number one defendant, it's not going to be me. And it's not going to be Father Enoch. Now it's going to be whoever. It's going to be this conglomerate of third-party investors, this and that and the other, and they're going to have to pay as much as we pay because we sold our shares. We did this. We did that. So yes, our name's still on it. Yes, we'll take responsibility, but as far as the actual financial pain that comes from it, maybe it won't be as bad because we have sold whatever in Tottenham to somebody else, right? So they'll have to use that money that they whatever to pay for it, or whatever they got in the purchase or the selling of their shares, they'll use that money to help pay for lawsuits and lawyers and whatnot. So just conspiracy theory brain. Again, I'm not sure this is actually going to happen. This will lead to anything fruitful with Tottenham. I'm not sure there's going to be any sort of investigations. I don't think we're going to get deducted points. I don't think we're going to be fined anything. I just think fans need to be aware and on the lookout for how this club is moving. Because for the last decade, for this club to just completely abandon its focus in athletics and football to do other ventures, there has to be something else going on than what we've been hearing from Daniel Levy or what we hear from Vinay. Oh, we're doing this for the club. We do this because we love the club. We want to generate the most money because we want to bring in the great players, because we want to play great football for the fans, for the club. We want to win. We want to do this. We want to do that. Well, you've had a decade to do that. You've only won one trophy in that decade. You've only made it to two other finals, maybe three. In the last decade, how many finals? I think it's two finals in the last decade, but maybe three. But I believe it's two. Two finals in the last decade and one trophy to show for it. Maybe some years of Champions League football, but that's really inconsistent as well. So it's like, obviously, you going balls to the wall financially on all the financial, ventures is not part of that. You bringing it back to the club for the better of the club is not part of it. So what is it? Are you covering up your ass for something? Are you trying to bring in money so that you can have some sort of cushion whenever shit hits the wall? That's what I believe. That's what I think is happening. And that's why I think that you saw Daniel Levy get fired. We saw Father Enoch. He dropped his position after the insider trading. We had to bring in someone to look at the finances when the Enoch children come in. We had to bring in a new CEO. We had to bring in a new sporting director because maybe there is some foul things going on in the background that, again, Daniel Levy and Father Enoch were either the face of or were willing to cover up so that they can continue to expand and do whatever they wanted to do. So that's just my opinion. A little bit of conspiracy theory brain. Hopefully you guys sit with that. You'll think about it. Hopefully it doesn't make your head explode. I'm not saying you shouldn't be a fan of Tottenham. I'm not saying I'm not a fan of Tottenham anymore. And again, I'm not sure any of this will ever happen or come to light or be fruitful in any way. It's just my opinion. That's all. That's all. All right. The stream we've had tonight. I want to thank everybody again for joining this live stream. I appreciate you guys being a part of the Situation Room. We needed this meeting. We don't want the other people knowing about this. We don't want other fans know about this. Stays between you and me. Stay between you and me. That you think that Tottenham may have some financial blowups coming in the future. That stays between you and me. So, but thank you again for joining us in the Situation Room. It's still Defcon 1, folks. Until we play our next game, please remember that. Also, remember this. Like the video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right. Also, follow me on X, De La Spurs, pretty much on all platforms. Feel free to leave a comment, post on my page, Twitter, whatever it is. Let me know what you think about this content. Let me know whether it's bad, it's good, it sucks, it's great. I need to do better. I'm doing all right. Whatever it is, let me know. So feel free to leave a comment, share with your friends, family, and teammates. Let them know about De La Spurs if they're interested in Tottenham content, football content, soccer in general. Listen, folks, thank you so much again for joining me Friday night. Again, spring has sprung for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and spread my wings, go out, enjoy myself. I hope you guys enjoy your Friday night as well. Don't do anything too crazy, you know what I'm saying? Be responsible and all that. But listen, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Go out and have a little bit of fun. Thank you for joining our stream, De La Spurs Live. Listen, I'm gonna go back live again Monday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Hopefully we'll have a little bit more news, more updates with Tottenham. And, of course, that will be when football is arriving back. So we will be previewing the next games. Let me see. The next game we have – what's the next game we have? Oh, where's the schedule? Sunderland. Next game is Sunderland. So, listen, we're going to be talking about that. We'll probably be previewing that week on Monday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time here, De La Spurs Live. Be a part of the greatness, folks. Come and join. But until then, enjoy your weekends. Enjoy your Friday nights. I will see you on Monday. Thank you.